D-E, I grind that yayo, DIP schemes. Spit murder, kill and write homicide. Dream you get the best of me, wake up and apologize. Before I catch him at Mama's Fried, shoot through his dollar fries, leave his brain splattered by the Haagen-Dazs. You traumatized, AKs, Osama size, couple dollar signs, I school him like Columbine. Bottom line, I body him, my mafia. Had your block put up more candles than Hanukkah. You was the snitch in school, hallway monitor. Tattle tell a dude that was all day watching you. I was in wood shop, I made shanks from push rods. Home ec, I took pot to cook rocks. That was math, it all made sense to me. Took a Pyrex from lab, the rest is history.
Who wanna dig me? And who's a G? Me. And who could get you cheap prices on the key? Me. And who's a bitch? You. And who's a snitch? You. Who getting popped if he come through the strip? You. Who gotta lock me?
This is going to be my fragrance pet peeves. And before we get into that, I do just want to talk about my scent of the day, Juicy Couture's Dirty English. If you like Pour on One by Gucci or Comme des Garçons 2 by Man, you're really going to like this because this is a lighter version of those two fragrances. Very actually nice presentation, really heavy bottle, and I got this one for $20 at TJ Maxx. So Juicy Couture Dirty English, definitely a worthwhile fragrance. So this is probably going to be my most controversial episode ever, and this one is about fragrance community or just fragrance pet peeves. And why I think that this video is going to be controversial is because I'm going to say that I don't really have any fragrance community pet peeves except for one, and that's other people in the fragrance community's pet peeves. Now, I've watched a lot of people do pet peeve videos, from Redolessence to Lex Ellis. Lex Ellis actually has a very good series, I think, called Fragrance Frustration. And Chad, Everyday Man, who's a good friend of mine, actually made a video that's inspiring this video because I actually disagree with almost everything he said in his video. And mainly 3 points that I'm going to talk about later in this video. And this reason why is because 3 of his pet peeves are things that I think that I do. So I want to preface this by saying that I love Chad, and this isn't change any of that. This is just a fragrance disagreement, and life is so much bigger than a fragrance disagreement, and I think that's my first point. So let me tell you where I come from. I don't know this philosophically. I don't like getting political on this show or religious. I just think it's not the time or place for that. But basically, my ideology is when I was younger, I definitely sort of considered myself a Democrat. I thought, Republicans were evil and the only way to be was to be a Democrat. And then after 9/11, I definitely sort of became more conservative. And then when Bush bailed out the big banks, which I thought was unbelievable, I started to really become a libertarian. And for those of you who might not know what that is, it's just sort of you live your life the way you want, and no one should be infringing upon that. Whatever you want to do is up to you, as long as it doesn't infringe on other people's rights. So like a good example of that is like if you want to shoot heroin, knock yourself out, man. But like I don't think you should be doing it in a restaurant in front of other people sticking a needle in your arm. So whatever you enjoy is cool. Obviously, if you like killing babies or something like that, that's not cool. So it's about doing what you do as long as you don't infringe on anyone's rights. So I think it's really silly to make a video saying that you don't like so-and-so in the community doing X unless X is affecting your life or your channel and what you're trying to do on it. Like if you have a beef with the industry, that's cool. I think as consumers, we have a right to be critical of the fragrance industry, but I don't really understand being critical of fellow reviewers. And there are 3 things that I heard from Chad that I just want to sort of respond to. The first thing is that, he sort of made the point, and again, this isn't about just him, because I've heard many people make these points. It's crazy to have a large fragrance collection. It's not a wise investment, and you can never use all the juice that you have. That might be true, maybe, I don't know. I'm going to bet you that if Mark ever decides to auction his collection on eBay, he's going to get a shitload of money for it. He might not get every penny that he put in, but he's going to do fine. Secondly, why does anyone care how anyone else spends their money? I can take anyone in Fragcom, I guarantee you, look at their bank statement over the past year and probably point out multiple non-prudent purchases. It's like saying, why go to nice restaurants? You can't take the food home with you. And a lot of time life is about experience. And I would never think I could tell someone how they should be having that experience. I can make recommendations like I do on my channel, but ultimately, if it's your money, you should be able to spend it however you want. Now, hopefully you're doing it wisely. And if not, you'll learn that you haven't been at some point. You know, if you want to have a perfect 30 fragrance collection like Lupe, great. You want just 10 fragrances in your collection? Awesome. You want 800 like Mark? You're a collector, cool. Who cares? Do you really care? And I think you probably know how to live your life better than I know how to live your life. So I actually think it's a little condescending for people who collect fragrances, or at one point sort of collected fragrances, to tell other people that they've collected too many fragrances. That's just my opinion on that. The second thing is, I heard a bunch of people say this one too, is like, why do you care about compliments? Like, no one should be caring if they get a compliment when they wear a fragrance. And Coach Rob actually sort of brought this to light in a video in a great way. And he sort of said, I guess he put it like there's a Drake, the rapper Drake has a line, like, people who say money doesn't matter are people who don't have any money. And he kind of said that people who don't think compliments matter usually don't get a lot of compliments. Now, I don't know about the Drake lyrics. I don't fuck with Drake at all. But obviously, what his point was, you know, if you get compliments, you're gonna like it. And if you spend a couple $100 on a fragrance, I don't think there's anything wrong with your ego or your value system or your confidence if you appreciate a compliment or you like getting compliments. Honestly, I don't personally care that much about compliments. When someone gives me one, sure, I feel good. But when they don't, it doesn't bother me. I've always looked at myself and like a few of my friends as trendsetters. So I expect people to be a little bit behind the curve. And then within a few months or years, for the real slowpokes, they'll catch on. But here's my thing. If someone is self-conscious and compliments make them feel better and help build up their self-esteem, that's amazing that the fragrance has earned its money, basically. It's great to be self-confident, and some people tell you that they're self-confident, and usually the people who talk about how confident they are, I feel, are usually the most insecure people deep inside. Telling people that you're self-confident is honestly like telling chicks you have a big dick, I think. People who have it never have to say a word about it. And when it's time to get busy, they just get busy. And people who poke their chest out crumble as soon as you test them. And it's the same thing with bullies too. In my experience, the toughest dudes that I know or knew never really popped shit off. They just handled BI when it came to. They never started problems, but when problems came to them, they handled it very officially. And the dudes that just ran around talking were the first ones, in my experience, to run as soon as people started fighting or shots started flying. And that's just the reality. So if someone isn't confident and they need to be built up through materials or compliments, why look down on that? I think it's really hard to think like someone until you've lived like someone. Now, does that mean that a fragrance isn't good if it doesn't get you compliments? That's up to you. For me, the two really have nothing to do with each other. The third point I've heard a couple people make as well, is why do you care if you smell like someone else? Like, the world's so big, and are you really going to smell like someone else? Well, I feel like this one is based on where someone lives, right? So I live in Manhattan on the Upper East Side. Does that make me better or worse than anyone else in the world? I don't like wearing tobacco vanille because I know 5 people now who wear tobacco vanille. I don't like wearing Aventus because I know more than 5 people that wear Aventus. Why does anyone care? It makes so little sense to me. I have a guy who works for me from the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. He says no one really wears fragrances where he's from. He got into them here and says he always smells tobacco vanille on people or Aventus. Now, I'm going to pay more than $100 for a fragrance. I do not want to smell like someone else. I don't want to dress like them. I don't want my videos to be like theirs. That's me. And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with what someone else is doing, by wearing these fragrances. I'm just telling you it's a choice that I make. And I don't understand why that's a bad thing, or why that should annoy someone else. Now, I realize that I said that pet peeves are my pet peeves, so I'm actually doing what I'm getting on other people are doing. And again, that isn't saying anything or anyone is doing anything wrong. My thing is just, if you like what a reviewer's doing, watch their videos. And if you don't like it, don't watch their videos. But I think everyone who makes videos should just concentrate on making the best videos that they can possibly make. If they make pet peeve videos about things that other reviewers are doing or saying, there's really no way to do that, I don't think, without causing some sort of controversy. And sensitive people are either going to react or they're going to just hold it in and build up some hostility. What the fuck? What is, like, the Hells Angels or something? No, but you know, if you do that, people are going to feel a certain way. There are definitely reviewers who I think make really good videos, but they're just not my taste, so I don't watch their videos. There are reviewers who I think make not great videos, but I don't feel like it's my place to criticize what I think might be wrong with their videos. I think that people get a lot more out of life if they really pay attention to themselves and worry less about what other people are doing. And I'm being dead up when I say this video is not directed to one person, because I've heard multiple people say all the things I've talked about, and I don't even have a problem with them saying those things, because all they're doing is giving their opinion, and all I'm doing is disagreeing with that opinion. It doesn't make anyone wrong or right. It is what it is. But I will eventually do one of these videos, and I'm going to focus it on more, I think, more on the industry trends or perhaps shopping experience. I'm not going to talk about what other reviewers are doing, because I personally don't feel like it's my place to. If I'm a customer of a particular brand or store, then I feel like I have a place to say what I want to say. But if I provide nothing to a reviewer other than a couple of views, then I don't think it's my place to critique the way that they live their life or make their videos. If someone asks me, it's a different story. You know, then I'd be more than willing to say, well, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. But on YouTube, I'm really trying to stay in my lane. And the sole purpose of my channel, really from the jump, is to make sure the consumers don't waste their money on fragrances or products that don't deserve their money. Now, maybe other people have different mission statements for their channels, but that's mine, and I'm just going to keep moving in that direction. So, guys, that's just something I feel like I had to get off my chest. Again, like, I'm sure there might be people who take this and feel a certain way about it. I don't have problems. There's one person I have a problem with in the fragrance community, and I don't associate with them at all. And that's sort of the way I am. When I do have a problem with someone, I just don't fuck with that person. So I have no problems with anyone that I'm friends with. I think the people who I mentioned who's made these videos, Steve and Chad, I forget who else, but I have no, like, it's just not, I hope, you know, they don't have any hard feelings to me after this, because I just don't think about it like that. But I just wanted to give sort of the flip side, or at least my take on those three areas, because I admit it, I do like compliments. I don't like smelling like someone else, but I have a pretty big collection. So I don't feel like just specifically Chad's video or any video was made to target me or single me out. I just feel like I wanted to sort of respond and give my take on those subjects and sort of explain where I'm coming from. So I will do a bigger pet peeve video down the line, but I just wanted to say these things. So obviously we'll be back next week with more videos. Review this weekend, guys. You know what it is. I'm Maximilian, and I must know. Peace.